to my channel, Haylee Marie Vintage. Today I am doing a big fabric stash declutter. So I don't do fabric stash declutters too often, maybe once a year, and usually I focus on my whole craft shelf. However, today I am just focused on fabric. I have accumulated so much fabric in the past year or two where I've been sewing, and now that I've been sewing for longer, I know my fabric preference is better, and so I think it's a great time to reevaluate my stash and get rid of things that I think I maybe just bought to like mock up with or things like that, because I know my fabric tastes better now, and I don't really want to keep fabric that I'm not excited to use, because as of right now I feel like I have enough fabric to probably sew for like 4 years without buying any new fabric. It's not gonna happen because I love buying fabric. Basically, the way this is gonna work is first I'm just gonna put you in hyperspeed mode where you'll see me just moving stuff around and sorting, and then afterwards I'll review with you everything I'm getting rid of. My plan right now is to put everything I'm getting rid of up on my Mercari and kind of see what sells in the first month and then what doesn't sell after that month. I'm going to go ahead and donate to my local creative reuse center, Seattle Recreative. So with kind of all that info on how this is going to work, let's jump into super speed mode. All right, one of the first things I have to do is get everything into my space. Since I have a ton of fabric in this cedar chest that I can't really move, I'm bringing everything into my dining room where I have moved my dining room set out. So here I am just grabbing my fabric from all over the apartment. One of the big things that is challenging about my fabric stash is because of the way my apartment is, I can't store it all in the same place, so it even just takes a while to gather it all up, and then I don't really have it organized in any certain way other than washed and unwashed. So what's in the purple bin and the IKEA bag I have not pre-washed. Everything else here is pre-washed. So that's kind of like the only organization I have, and because I have fabric in like 4 or 5 different places, I have no idea where to find things, and it's really frustrating. And then here I am starting to sort. Anything I am throwing over against that wall is stuff I'm getting rid of. This here that I'm working on right now is my projects to do. I got rid of a lot of stuff from here because a lot of stuff that's been in this bin has been in this bin for over a year, so it's clearly not a project I'm really that excited to complete. I did really well getting rid of fabric. I'm pretty pleased. This last one is my basket, which a lot more of my recent fabric that I've purchased is in here, so I'm getting rid of less of it compared to some of the other bins. I'm trying to just be really good about keeping my pre-washed away from my non-pre-washed because I don't want to mix them up, because I always pre-wash. I know people feel differently about sewing, but I'm going to wash my clothes, so I always pre-wash my fabrics. And here I'm going through those unwashed bins. And then here I'm putting all of that unwashed fabric back in this bin to make sure it doesn't get mixed in with all the fabrics I've already washed. All of the fabrics I've already washed, I am going to organize into a different system, but obviously since these have not been washed, I am putting them away. And then we're going through the chest, which I have less to get rid of in here as well, as it is more of a recent fabric stash bin. Spooky, as always, is participating. I think she just crawled in that IKEA bag, which is a choice. And here I've gone through my linens, which I actually did keep in one spot, which these are all the things I plan on upcycling. I've gone through them, and now I am putting them back in the exact same spot I took them out of, because this is the only part of my fabric stash that was grouped and organized like in a desired way where I knew where I could go to look for things. Now I am just sorting my fabrics into piles. I'm putting like plaids with plaids, stripes with stripes, florals with florals, things like that, so that way if I'm looking for a specific fabric, I can find it. I also made a solids pile, and then I made a separate pile for brocades because I feel like a specific use case. Here you are specifically seeing me load my summer project bin. You can see a lot of summer fabrics there, and then I also have some fabrics that I've already made stuff with and I would like to make just like a blouse or something, and my rule is going to be, if I haven't done it by the end of summer, I will get rid of the things in this basket, because this basket is where I pull projects that I work a lot of times off camera on. And then this bin here that I'm loading is my linings bin, and then this bin right here that I am currently loading up is all of my fall and winter projects that I have planned, all the fabrics I want to use for that bin. I decided my IKEA basket table is going to hold all of my florals and solids, and then my brocades, my stripes, my plaids, and of course my wool is going in the cedar chest. That's a no-brainer for that moth protection. I'm just very pleased because now I know where every bit of fabric I own is, and if I want to pull it for a project because I suddenly got inspired, I will know exactly where it is. Alrighty, let's get started on talking through these. You've seen my clean out process. That was a lot of work, but I feel really good. I'm actually getting rid of a lot of fabric, so I'm pretty excited about that. So here, this is my scraps that are too small to sell pile. So these I will put in my, call it my scraps garbage bag, and I keep that for like shredding things, I guess. Over here, I am getting rid of all of my vintage sheets. I'm not gonna go through them one by one, but I'm getting rid of all of them. I've just found, for me personally, I don't like how it feels to wear sheets, and I don't like the way they drape. I think some people, it works really well for them. For me and my sensory issues, it doesn't work great. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of those. This here, I'm not gonna go through. This is like my bigger scraps pile, so I'll be making like little scrap packs out of these guys. And then this here, can't see it, but I got rid of a bunch of fusible and sew-in interfacing. I now have, through trial and error, found what I like, and these are all the ones that I don't like. I'm just gonna put them all in one listing and call it good. But let's go through this pile here, which is all the bigger yardages. So in some cases, it's stuff like this. This I used in my cherry dress, but I just don't see myself wearing it like outside of that dress, so I'm gonna pass on the extra yardage. All of these I'll be listing pretty cheaply on my Mercari. I just kind of want to get rid of them, and if somebody else wants them in their stash, that's great. I think anything under 2 yards I'll list for $5, and anything over 2 yards I'll list a little bit higher, except for anything that is really great vintage fabric. I might list those a little bit higher, and I will, full disclaimer, I'm going to be listing these before this video goes up, so everything might not be left that you see here. I really need to be moving this out of my apartment. There is so much of it and I feel really overwhelmed. This here is a sheer, really lovely fabric. It's just that I don't sew with fabrics like these that often. I don't like this enough to deal with how slippery it is. This guy here is a really lovely brocade. It like has a nice soft hand to it. I think it's vintage. However, I just like don't love this color on me. And since I don't love the color, I'm gonna not keep it. This is just some pink fabric that, while it's cute, I just don't see myself using it compared to all my fabrics. This guy I actually have 5.5 yards of. It's like this pretty, it's actually kind of almost 4th of July-y. Drew had a ton left over. This is from the vintage estate sale, and I thought I might use it, but like looking at it against all my other florals, I just don't see myself using it, even though I think it's a perfectly lovely fabric. This guy here is left over from my Valentine's Day fabric, or my Valentine's Day dress, and I just need to list it. This one I'm going to list a little higher because it is vintage embroidery. This guy here is also, this is a vintage 70s fabric. It's really cute. I just famously don't wear red. I'm going to go ahead and pass it along. I don't want to make it up into something that I'm going to just declutter. This guy, it's a nice stripe. I just, looking at the stripes I have, I like a lot of my other stripes better. And that goes for this one too. This one is also a nice stripe, but I don't see myself using it. Even though I really like the pattern, I just don't like the hand of it as much. This is some just nice green fabric. I have 2 of these and the other one is higher quality, so I just am getting rid of this one. This guy here, I think this is a bundle of like Christmassy quilt panel things. These are just like colors that I won't use, so I want to pass them along. This guy here is left over from my raincoat. There is a good amount here. I just don't see myself like making another coat in this, and I don't think I would use it personally for anything but like outerwear. This guy here, I have no explanation. I just don't like it. Like, I like it in theory. I really like the drape. I really like the colors, but I just like, I don't feel excited about sewing with it. This guy here, I'm trying to figure out what to do. It's not in the bestest shape, but it's this really fun 90s border print that I made a swimsuit cover up with. And it is really cute, and there's enough to still make something. This guy is left over from my Mad Hatter dress. It's nice fabric. This might end up in the scrap bundles. I'm not quite sure. Some of these I don't know the yardage. Same with this guy. This might end up in a scrap bundle too. This I made that waistcoat out of that I really like, but I just don't see myself using this fabric again because it would get really repetitive. This I thrifted. It's kind of like this like faux suede, and I really don't like it. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. This guy here, it's really lovely and really pretty, and I do like the color. I just don't know what I would make with it. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it along because for me, with how much fabric I do have, if I don't know what I want, like if I have no idea what I want to do with it, I just am going ahead and getting rid of it. Same with this guy. I also really like this one, but I just don't really know what I'd make with it. I think somebody else could make something much nicer with it. This guy here, also kind of on the same note. I also don't love the texture texture of this. It's a nice fabric though, and there is 5 1/4 yards. This one I like kind of can't believe I'm getting rid of. I just don't love it. It is a border print. I got this from Fabric Mart. Actually, when I was there in real life, there's something about it that I just don't feel excited about making with. Even though I think it's like a very lovely fabric, I just don't know what I want to do with it, and I can't really envision wearing it. This guy here, I'm only getting rid of because it's red. It's a really, really beautiful vintage fabric. So this one will be priced a little bit higher actually, and so will the Fabric Mart one. This is a green Coda cotton, I think. I made my spiderweb dress way back in the day out of this, where I overlaid the black on it, and I just can't imagine myself wearing this without black overlaid on it. And this guy here I've made a nice little blouse with that I absolutely adore, but I just don't see myself making anything else with it. This one here, I still have 5 1/2 yards. Part of me is really tempted to keep this. This is what I made my black and white Dorothy costume with. However, I don't need to keep it. I should pass it along because I love that little jumper, and I just can't imagine making something I'm gonna love anymore. So I would rather just pass it along to somebody else. This guy here is a nice, like, I think it's upholstery fabric. It's a heavier weight. I think it's really lovely. I just have a lot of light blue fabrics, and this is like my least favorite of them. This one here, I felt conflicted about getting rid of until I saw the blue version, and I just like the blue version so much more than I like this version. So I'm keeping the blue version, and I'm gonna sell this guy. This I recently made a top out of, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass it along. I have these here. One has stripes and one is just plain paisley. They're really, really pretty. I just like don't love them enough to deal with how slick they are, so I'm hoping somebody else will love them. This guy here, ooh, I think it's really pretty. I just am not gonna use it. Like I don't have a clear vision for this one, and I can't see myself like making something I'm gonna love out of it, so I'm gonna get rid of it. This guy here, I need to check with a friend who gave it to me and see if she wants it back. I'm trying to show you, it has this really pretty green sheen to it, which is why I love it. It's like a linen with a green sparkle to it. However, this is like basically my skin tone, and I just like don't think I'd like wearing it. So I'm gonna ask if she wants it back. And then this guy here, this is like a nice striped, like I could actually see this being such a cute dress. I just can't see it being a cute dress that I like. It's like this nice kind of more crepey loose that I could see being like a really cute like 1940s tropical inspired like dress that I think would be so lovely, but it's just not for me, so I'm gonna pass it along. But that's kind of it on these things. And then like I said, yeah, I have my big scrap pile, and then this guy I'm not getting rid of. I need to figure out where I'm putting this, because I like reorganized all my bins. I feel really good about their organization. However, I don't know where this belongs. The shirt itself is in really bad shape, but I love these sequin details, so I'm keeping it to cut around the sequin details to maybe put it on something else. So yeah, that is, I guess, like the summary of these. I will have, like I said, everything listed specifically on my Mercari. I'll look at if I want to list them on Vinted or Poshmark or any of the other ones. However, I feel like they don't like have categories for these, and I don't want to like put things that are kind of clutter in my closet if they don't apply. But yeah, that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed seeing what I decluttered and seeing me reorganize my fabric. I feel so much more ready for like a summer of sewing, so I'm pretty excited that I finally got around to this. There are many different ways to support my channel. I do have a Ko-Fi where you can go over and buy me a coffee if you desire, but of course there's always the free options that support my channel, which are liking this video, leaving a comment down below. I would love to know what you're most surprised that I'm getting rid of. And then of course you can always stick around and subscribe. I would love to have you. I have so much more sewing, thrifting, and vintage goodness headed your way, and I will see you next time. Bye!